Like when I did the right thing, you would like, thank you for doing that. Like, I'm proud of you for doing that.
I almost get a positive reinforcement.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. You were never like, oh, congrats, dipshit. You did the dishes today. How's that feel? You never did anything like that.
Maybe I said, do you want a cookie at some point? I might have said that.
Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
Today we're going to talk about compassion. And can compassion go too far? Is there a limit to how much compassion someone should have? It's an amazing quality to have. It can get people out of some really tough situations. It can show love and empathy. It can be amazing, but it can also be detrimental. We're going to get into some of that. Yep. When it goes too far, some of the signs of that, and some ways to get around that. But first, let's talk about some quick announcements. If you weren't aware, we have a free Facebook community. Completely free. Jump in, answer a few simple questions. If you're someone who's in recovery, we ask, it's a boundary of ours that you need to be sober for a year or more, just so that you've been able to process away from the substance for a little while. And you're more than welcome to come in. Share your experiences, share your journey, give feedback, ask questions. We pop in from time to time. It's a great place. It's about 3,000 members strong right now, and it's been an amazing resource for a ton of people. So you're not aware of it, please come over and join. Also, if you listen to this podcast and you don't follow the show, do us a favor and click follow. Follow the show and leave us a review if you've got it in you. If you want to hop in there and leave a quick review, if it's just stars, you don't necessarily have to write anything. Yeah. But it helps other people discover the show. And that's something that we cannot, like, we don't ask a lot of anybody, but that's something that we really do need help with, is to help this thing grow. More people get help when they search in go to search Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and you type in whatever you might have typed in to find this alcoholic spouse or spouse of an alcoholic, spouse of an addict, something along those lines. This show ranks higher and more people can find it. Yeah. It's good for everybody.
And it's a very important resource that's out there right now that a lot of people sadly are looking for.
Yeah, and we pride ourselves on offering those types of free resources. We also do have some resource. What are you doing?
You guys have that on your shirt.
She's grabbing me by the neck. Hang on.
No, keep talking.
Okay. We also do have a course. We have a lot of free resources, more free resources than paid resources, but we do have a course. So we built a course with a licensed therapist that walks spouses and partners through a journey of recovery. Yeah. It's different than Al-Anon. It's different than 12 steps. It's different than really anything else that's out there. And it comes from our lived experience as well as research, science, and the education of a licensed counselor. So you're getting tons of information here. You're going to get our stories. You're going to get a relationship dynamics module, which has been really helpful, which is still available as a mini course right now.
Yeah, it's still up.
It's still up. It's a really helpful worksheet. This is heavy, deep work.
It is, but it's necessary. It's important for growth. You have to do the hard things to push forward for personal development.
That was almost going to be our episode today.
Yeah, it was.
We'll get that one.
Yeah, we will.
But back to the course, it's got perspective of a spouse. Obviously, Paige is front and center in this. I think 90% of it's Paige.
Yes, and then you have your own module that's probably the longest module in the entire program.
I was only in it one time, and I made it worth it. It's like a 45-minute video or something.
Yeah,
but you get an addict's perspective. Addiction education.
It's important.
Helping versus enabling, self-awareness, building a healthy self, boundaries, communication. All these things are discussed in the course, and it's available for a limited time at 75% off using the code Wheelies75. Again, it's Wheelies with an S, 75.
Yes.
We've also got rocks and stickers available. We've only got a handful of rocks left, I think. Spouses and partners don't get the recognition that people in recovery get for making achievements like 30, 60, 90 days of sobriety. We get coins and ticker tape parades. Sometimes we get keychains. That's what NA does. Everyone's got their own way of acknowledging sobriety, but spouses and partners don't really get this.
I believe they do in Al-Anon.
Do they really?
I think so.
Okay. Well, we've got something cooler, I think.
I agree. Well, this comes from your partner, so it's different.
If you are someone who listens and you listen as a couple, or you listen and you know that you've got a lot of work to do when it comes to sobriety and fixing damage of the past, and you want to acknowledge your spouse's journey, this is a really cool way to do it. It's a rock on the back. It says, "Thank you for being my rock." On the front, it's got our logo. It's a really cool token of appreciation, I think.
I love it.
Really cool. Appreciate the listener that gave us that idea. You know who you are, and we appreciate you being a listener and for the idea. That's awesome. Really cool. We've also got stickers available. Yes. Lots of stickers for water bottles. As you can see, Paige's water bottle over there.
Yeah, we have our logo, and then we have all different kinds. I don't know how many we have up there, but we do have a few.
That water bottle's been through something.
I dropped it a few times. You should see the top's all cracked.
That thing's been you're not easy on water bottles.
Well, I miss my old water bottle that was like I could throw it and it would be okay, except it did start leaking. So
Leaked everywhere.
I don't know. Y'all tell me what your favorite water bottles are. I'm not really a big fan of the
Stanley
style because I like to toss mine around and these just leak. It's just not my thing. I don't care if I like the big heavy duty ones. Not like yours though, because I do like a straw. I'm very particular with my water bottles. I'm just realizing that.
It needs to be durable as hell too.
It does. It does. And it has to have a straw, but not like this.
You mean like the plastic ones that flip up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's out there. Hopefully we hear from
Well, it's the
someone.
one that I had before, but it leaked. So I need a different one.
Hopefully you get some good suggestions
Yeah,
here.
okay, cool. Thank you.
Email us if you know about an awesome water bottle. info@twofocouple.com.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and an exciting announcement. If you're already part of the community, you would have known about this, but Paige, take us from here.
So I asked last week if the community would like for me to do like a mini podcast or mini episodes or something just by myself, like 15, 20 minutes long, weekly episodes in addition to what we do, but just by myself, kind of my perspective. It's called Paige's Perspective. And I released my first one last Friday because the community was like, yes, please, let's go.
Overwhelmingly, yes.
Yeah, they were like, okay. And if you've been following us for a long time, you've witnessed my growth a little bit and how I didn't want to do podcasts to begin with. And now I am doing my own. So that's where we are in my growth, but it's also for you guys. And it's more of like an empowering piece. So our whole thing is validate, educate, empower, and help you on your own recovery. And I wanted to do something more positive, I guess, or more of like lifestyle type things and how I, empowered myself and got through some things in personal development and growth or whatever. So every Friday I will be releasing, well, I'm hoping every Day. I guess
you have to
I
commit
have
to it.
I have
That's
to commit.
the deal.
Oh, okay. I got this. So every Friday, just look for a little extra pep in your step episode that I'll be releasing.
I think I can speak for all of our listeners when I say that this is overdue and we are incredibly proud.
Thanks.
Your growth here is insane. Like when we started the podcast, it was like kind of kicking and streaming. I was like, it's a journey people need to hear. I know that you're not really a talker, but it's going to be amazing and you're going to get better at it. And you've gotten so good.
I think it'll help with my growth, but it's helpful for others too. Like I think that this is going to be a really positive thing for our listeners and myself. Giving back, that's part of our whole process. And this is me giving back all by myself without you.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Matt's not involved in it.
None. No, it's not at all. Like this is not me at all. This is just Paige. And it's so cool to watch. I love it. The comments were hilarious.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we just come for Paige anyway. I mean, let's just be honest here. Like, he's nice and all, but I think that there's just it's facetious, but it's true. This is about the journey of a spouse and partner. This isn't just another guy in recovery talking about recovery stuff. And it wouldn't be the same if it was just me talking about your experience.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the same if it was just me either. And I think that's what makes us different as well, is that it's both of our perspectives. And that's what makes it so powerful for people.
It just needs to lean heavier on you.
Thanks for the pressure, dear.
It's not pressure.
No, I know it's challenge. You're challenging me.
Hey, man,
and
diamonds.
I'm up for it. I'm going to do this. I will get there, but y'all just bear with me. It might be cringy at times. So I apologize for that, but I'm going to put myself out there. I've always been okay being vulnerable. So it's okay.
Diamonds are made under pressure. I'm just going to say that.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Anything else to say on that?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
That was it. That was the
else.
last of the announcements.
Okay.
Let's get into the episode.
Yes.
We're talking about compassion. How'd this come about?
So I don't know. I just kind of started thinking about it because I think that a lot of us are very compassionate people. We are very empathetic people. We're very we feel deeply. Some of us are HSPs and we just sometimes can go really far into having too much compassion or too much empathy. And I don't want to change people in their empathy and their compassion, but there is a line. There's a boundary here. There's something where if it is affecting you and your mental state, maybe you're going a little bit too far. So there's this book that, oh man, I forgot the name of it, the Narcissism Spectrum book that I read. You haven't read it yet. It's on our website.
Defining
No, I don't think it's something like that. I'll have to look it up and I'll put it in the notes because it's on our website. But there is like a spectrum. Like there's a line where one side is total empath and the other side is total narcissistic. And the damage on both sides are very similar. We can be overly compassionate and overly empathetic to where we are really harming ourselves. So in this episode, I kind of wanted to just touch on, when does it go too far? When are you putting that compassion into something that is no longer serving you in a way? I wanted to talk about the difference between empathy, sympathy, and compassion because we all get really, really.
I was going to say, when you were talking about this episode, I was like, I always thought that those were just synonyms.
Me too.
And that's kind of how I've always used them.
I believe that I have used these words incorrectly a lot in the past. So I'm going to own that at this point in our podcast, that if you go back and you hear me talk about compassion and I used it wrong. I used it incorrectly.
Same. Had to have, because today's the day I learned. Like today I learned that there is a significant difference between just having empathy, sympathy, and compassion.
Yeah.
So what are the differences?
Okay. So empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. So it's more of like putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and actually feeling what they're going through as if those emotions were your own. I've big time. I've had to really find the balance with this because I used to take on your emotions a lot. So like an example would be like if a friend is grieving the loss of a loved one, empathy means you feel their sadness and understand the depth of their pain. Like you're just able to feel it. You can feel those emotions. You have anything to say on empathy? Or let me keep going.
Yeah, I'll keep going.
Okay. Well, sympathy involves acknowledging another person's emotional hardships and expressing sorrow or concern for them, but it's more of just understanding from a distance and not feeling it. So it's understanding like if somebody had lost a pet or something and you say, I'm so sorry for your loss. You're not really feeling their feelings, but you're having sympathy for them.
Almost cognitive. Sympathy is more cognitive than it is emotional.
Yes. Yeah. We all have sympathy. I used to on the internet, if I would see something very sad on social media, like somebody had passed away or somebody had lost a loved one or something happened, I would take that on. I would take that feeling on and it would mess me up for days. I would feel guilty about posting something nice about myself, like on the internet, because I'm like, this person is struggling. I don't want to post anything about my life because I don't want to make them feel bad. Like I took it really, really far when I could have just had sympathy and saying like, I really am sorry for your loss, but I also have a life to live as well. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Makes total sense.
Have you ever done that before?
Absolutely, I have.
Like where you've gone down this hole of just having so much empathy towards something or something that really didn't affect you necessarily. Yeah, in your circle.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and I've been pretty clear about it, but I'm not a diagnosed narcissist. But empathy in active addiction is hard to feel in some ways because you're numb to a lot. I mean, you're under the influence of a substance and you're just really not considering how anyone feels about anything. It's a very selfish place to be. And so I think that there is some sort of a lack of empathy that comes through the chemicals and everything else. But getting sober and starting to feel like empathy again was a lot, a lot. Like you mentioned, like reading the news and things like that. Like anytime I read about, especially like children, like anytime a child has been harmed or abducted, like, oh my God, man, that kills me. I can't read it. I can't.
And you can't watch movies that have like, you used to be really big into horror movies and we can't do it
anymore. I've gotten soft in my old age.
You really have. But it's interesting to see that because you used to not be like that. Like you said, in active addiction, you had zero empathy. You really, you were selfish. Like you were numb to it. Maybe you blocked it. I don't know if you just blocked it out because it was too hard for you.
Man, you're just thinking about how strong your buzz is at any given moment and how to get the next one. That's all you're really
so it's not really,
about.
I'm overthinking it, obviously.
Very much so.
Okay.
I was just trying to feel good and get high. That's it.
But I've noticed your empathy radar definitely changed within the past few years. You almost got to where I was a few years ago. I've balanced out my empathy a lot.
Man, just being real, and I don't want anyone to hear this and be like, oh, I shouldn't write this kind of stuff. But like reading through the community, I think has been it's been really, really, really painful, but it's been really, really, really necessary.
Yes.
And that's, I tell anyone, if you're someone who's a recovering substance abuser and you listen to this, if you're part of the community, like kudos to you, because that's really tough stuff to read.
It is.
Like I will just be bawling my eyes out reading people's stories.
Right.
Like, oh my God. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's necessary. I mean, it makes things real, you know, and it's not palatable. It's not easy stuff to digest, but like if it does anything at all, it's like an added layer of accountability and understanding for me as to the things that I've done in my life and the things that I have to keep a lookout for. And whenever we show up here every week, like that's what we're doing. We're helping people who are in those situations. And so it's so much bigger than just like me and you talking about how we got better. Like we're not just some like effing Instagram, like live, laugh, love couple. It's like, oh, look at us, like influencer couple shit. You know, like we're really, really, really trying to help people who've been through a lot.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's really hard.
It is.
So yeah.
Oh, honey.
It chokes me up every time I think about it.
I didn't expect that.
I mean, we get emails, DMs from people, and we get like messages, and it's a lot. And I don't want anyone to ever not share these things because it's helpful for me. Like I need to know. The more I know, the more I can help. That's the way I feel. It's like the more I read, the more I understand, the more I can be helpful. So don't ever stop writing them. But it is like we were just talking about how you can read something and take stuff on. Like that happens to me all the time. Like I will find myself like actually mad and like irritated at the way that someone's being treated. And it's like, man, like I just need to start an ass whooping service. Like I can just have a bunch of guys that go around and whip people's ass. Like that's what I need to do.
He does get very, very passionate about the stories that he reads in the community. And he's like, come on guys, come on. Like you do, like you said,
can't keep treating people this way, man.
Right. And I know that that's when your recovery bumped up and when you really started to become more of an empathetic person. And that's why I felt like you weren't a narcissist first, because I think that you've always had empathy, but things just...
I'm telling you, when you
numbed it out.
When you're in active addiction, it's just, your central focus is just you and how do I feel better? That's all you're thinking about. Like it's almost like it just sort of turns it off. It's not like it's disappeared. It just turns it off. It's weird, man. It's weird.
Yeah, but I think it's sometimes a survival mechanism too for some people to just especially not being able to feel that stuff.
There's a lot. I mean, there's different reasons people use. It's very complex. And there are a lot of people who are trying not to feel, like actively trying not to feel anything because they feel too much of it.
Yeah.
They're trying to run from that. Right. It's the only way that they can deal or process is if they don't feel those big feelings because they don't have the tools on how to manage them. And so, yeah, there's some degree of that too. Yeah. But yeah, we're not all crazy. But there are also some that like we talk about, like the stuff we do bleeds into narcissism quite a bit because the abuse feels the same. Yeah. Like the actions are identical. Right. Like to the person being abused, it feels exactly the same. But that is a defining characteristic of a true narcissist is they don't have empathy. Like sociopaths, like they don't have empathy. They don't care. Like they could kill someone, kill an animal. They do not care. It does not matter to them. They can sleep just fine that night. And we'll get into some of that later on when we talk about a question that was asked and a TikTok response that I'd put out there. Okay. Rather interesting. But it kind of bleeds into this.
Yeah. Okay. Know? All right. Well, I want to talk about what compassion means.
So we talked about empathy.
Yes.
We talked about sympathy.
Yes.
What the hell's compassion?
So compassion is the ability to recognize another's suffering and take action to help alleviate it. So it involves an element of empathy or sympathy, but focuses on the desire to help. So it's more of like taking the steps to make sure this person isn't suffering anymore.
That I didn't realize.
Right. I always thought that compassion was more of the empathy side where it's like, okay, I have feelings. I understand what you're going through. I can put myself in your shoes. But I didn't know that the part of actually helping was different.
Right.
Was part of it. And so this would be like seeing a homeless person. Compassion involves not only feeling sorry for what they're going through, but also donating food, money, or time to help them. So if you listen to this, this can be similar to enabling. And that's kind of what we're going to go through is like the fine line of compassion and enabling. Because being overly compassionate can be counterproductive.
It can be detrimental, in fact.
Yes, it can harm both people in together. So I think of like, for us, we have compassion when it comes to homeless people, okay?
Yeah.
Here's what we do. We don't give them cash. We will not give them cash. We give them gift cards.
Because I know that drug dealers don't accept
because we know
gift cards. I've tried.
Exactly. There's a line there. There's a boundary. It's like, I have compassion for you. You know, I in a way, I would like to help you because I know you're suffering a little bit, but I'm not going to give you the tools to feed your addiction. I'm not going to feed your addiction if you have one.
Now they could use it on alcohol easily, but
maybe.
No, they could totally buy alcohol. I mean, go to a store. Yeah.
Well, then I'm not giving them gift cards anymore.
It's just, you can't just give it to a dealer. I just think about that, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Dealers get real skeptical when you try to give them gift cards. They look at you like,
This is what we're talking about, though. Like, there's a really fine line with the compassion and enabling pieces.
Yeah, I didn't realize compassion was, so it's a noun, but it's almost like a verb in some ways.
Right. It always involves a motivation.
Because it's really about the desire to alleviate. It's a desire. It's a desire to alleviate someone's suffering. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to compassion, like that can be a very tricky thing when you're talking about addiction.
Right.
Very tricky.
Right.
Okay, so let's get into some of the, I guess the hallmarks of it. Like, what are some of the identifying characteristics?
Like the signs if you're having excessive compassion. Okay, so this would be more like in the enabling behavior. So covering up their mistakes. Like, what if your partner or somebody is you have to call their employer and make excuses, or you're basically preventing them from consequences. And we've talked about this multiple times, that alcoholics and addicts need consequences. Human beings need natural consequences.
The ones that break my heart the most here, like the ones that, I mean, they infuriate me, are the ones where when we're talking about sex and that desire to alleviate someone's suffering because they're claiming that their addiction is due to not feeling loved via sex. And so people that will give into that, and like that's so sick and twisted. But a lot of women deal with that. A lot of women deal with that. And that's kind of back to point one.
Yeah.
We're talking about enabling that behavior.
It is. That is.
It's very manipulative, and it is enabling, but it's extremely manipulative. Like, I'm not going to knock anyone for being in that position. I know what these people say. I've seen their text messages. I know what they say. I get it, but that's tough.
But it's okay to say no if you need to say no.
I hope you say no.
Yes. So ignoring your own needs, like if you're sacrificing your own needs and stuff to support them, or to, if you have too much compassion for them and it's taking away from what you need, that might be going too far. So neglecting your own self-care. And it's not just because you're focusing on their needs. It's just if you're neglecting your own self-care because you're too focused on like the whole dynamic, the whole situation, like that's too much. That's affecting you. Time's
a resource, like any other. And it's the only one that you will never get any time back. Like, it is the most valuable of all the resources, you could argue. You can never get it back. And you think about all the time that you spend, how much of this occupies your time? How much of this stuff occupies your time? So when you talk about like ignoring your own needs, we're not just talking about like, oh yeah, I didn't work out this morning because I was on the phone with him or texting with him. I didn't eat right because I was, I'd lost time earlier in the day and I didn't have time to go. It's more than that. It's like, it's the time that you spend on a general day just thinking about what you need to do in your life.
Yeah. Obsessing over it.
And it's not focused on you anymore. It's just completely focused on someone else and how to fix them and how to correct them and what you're going to do for them. And that's like that. How do you even quantify that? How do you calculate that? You can't really.
Right.
But that there's a cost there. There's absolutely cost there. Like, think about times whenever you and I both have been like, man, I really need to get my shit together. And you kind of spend some time going through like what would need to change in order for you to, what needs to change in my schedule. I need to join a gym, or I need to start buying healthier foods. Hey, what if all that time were erased and you were just spending it on someone else? Like, you forego possible massive changes in your own life. So it's not just like the act of just like missing out on a workout or something like that. Like, it's deeper than that. No, it's much deeper than that.
Yeah. And it's continuous. It happens all the time.
And that wears you out mentally.
Absolutely.
Like, it's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
Because you'll find like you don't ever come up with solutions for it. You just spend all day long talking about it or venting about it or thinking about it. And then just at the end of the day, you're just freaking beat by it.
Yeah.
Like, God, man, I got nowhere with that.
Yeah.
That's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. So another way would be if you lack boundaries, which a lot of us do lack boundaries. We've discussed why people lack boundaries. We talk about it a lot in our course. We've talked about it in the podcast. But if we keep allowing them to repeatedly violate our personal boundaries without consequences, we're giving them too much compassion. And if we're unable to say no to unreasonable demands or requests from them, kind of like what you were talking about with the intimacy part.
Yeah.
Like if we cannot say no, we're giving too much compassion. Like it's okay to say no. It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to not tolerate this stuff. You can still have empathy for this person or sympathy for this person and what they're going through, but that doesn't mean we allow them to walk all over us. Do you have any examples of lack of boundaries?
Oh man, there's a million of them.
Yeah.
I can probably go through quite a few, but I think that it's so much easier to justify to yourself why someone needs a break when you understand their story and you understand what they've been through, and you can kind of draw conclusions as to why they are the way they are. Like behind every addicted person is a human. There's a human being there that has been through, in often cases, a lot of their own trauma. Not always, but a lot of the cases, that's true. They've been neglected. They've been abandoned. They've dealt with mental health problems, all kinds of stuff. And you want to see the best in them. Like you've seen this glimmer of them that just gives you so much hope for the type of person they can be. And you use that as a reason to completely, give them just a free runway to do kind of whatever they want in your life. Like I know someone like this in my life and didn't have it easy growing up, and everyone knew that. And so they got away with murder like, all the time. Like they were screwing up, dropped out of school, like always messing up, just always. And everyone's like, well, they've been through a lot and they've been through a lot. It's like, we're making it worse. Can no one see
or that's
this?
just how they are. Like that's another one.
That's another
big.
one too. Yeah, that's just how they are.
That's just how it is. That's making excuses. That's tolerating things. And you're not, to me, that's enabling because you're not allowing them to grow through what they've gone through. Grow through what you go through. If you're making excuses for that and just saying it's okay for them to be that way, they're not going to change. Yeah,
in some ways, like you're giving them permission to live inside of a victim mentality.
Exactly.
Like you're enabling that in some ways.
Right. It's
like,
condoning.
Like I hate the victim blaming shades of this conversation, but I think there is some truth to it.
But there is some truth to it. Yeah, and it's not really it's not your responsibility to make sure they get better. This is an empowering process for you to take ownership in what you can control.
Yeah. And there's also
that's powerful.
And there's a non-insignificant amount of manipulation that goes on here too from these people generally.
Oh yeah.
They will lean into that character that they know they occupy within your mind.
Oh yeah.
About this person that's been through a lot. They'll lean into that. Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they say that a lot of the times toxic people are going to gravitate towards those who are empathetic, that do not hold boundaries and hold their ground because we're easily manipulated. Mm-hmm. And I believe that. I've witnessed it. I've been part of it. I know how that works.
It's easy to get what you want from those people.
It is. And then that's almost the being a naive stage, like we talked about in the last episode, because you're not moving past that and recognizing what's healthy and what's not healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another sign of excessive compassion is if you're taking responsibility for their actions. Like if you feel like it's your duty to fix or manage their problems and their emotional states, like that's a red flag. And then constantly rescuing them from the natural consequences of their behavior. That goes a lot with the one before about the lack of boundaries and not allowing them to have consequences. People need consequences. Like we can't save them all the time.
This stuff, and I want people to know that when we talk, like this show in general is about people that you choose in life. It's about your partner, your spouse generally. Things differ a bit, I think, when we talk about children, but I just want people to remember that we're talking about adults. We're talking about
adults, yes.
People that
individuals that should be responsible.
Right. Yeah. We're not talking about children here that are completely helpless.
Right.
We're talking about people that these people know better. They know better.
Yeah, they should know better. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But some of the things that I've heard of other people doing for grown ass people, it will shock you. It'll blow your mind. And I know why they're doing it, but we've fallen into the compassion trap and we're not doing anyone any favors anymore.
Yes, but sometimes people do things that the other person can't do because they're trying to avoid tantrums. They're trying to avoid further abuse because they know that if they don't do this for their spouse, they're going to throw a fit. They're going to go wild. They're going to try to manipulate you again. They're going to be ugly to you. They feel like they're going to cause, it's one of those pick your battle type things. But sometimes you got to rip that Band-Aid off and just go with it.
You lived there with me for a while, didn't you?
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's just not worth the fight.
Yeah.
It's like, just whatever. Just do whatever. Because it's not worth it.
Yeah. Some things. But I also was pretty stubborn in some shit too. Like I think about the times when you were withdrawing on your own or detoxing on your own, when you would tell me that you were sick all the time. I wasn't there to save you. I wasn't trying to fix your problems. I wasn't trying to be like...
You were not offering me chicken noodle soup.
No, I was not. I wasn't offering you a pillow
or
to lay
heating
on.
pad.
I was not trying... And call me a cold-hearted bitch if you want. I really don't care. But I think that saved me. I think it was healthy. I think it saved you in a way as well because you knew that you had to suffer those consequences. You had to go through that pain in order to get through the other side. There was nothing I could have done to be there for you. You weren't trying to get better. You know, you thought you were trying to get better, but you weren't because you didn't go to treatment until later. I'll support you in recovery, but I'm not supporting you in addiction. And if you're over there doing this over and over again, I got to a point where I was like, I don't care right now. I don't. I love you from afar, but I'm not going to be there by your side while you're constantly going through these detoxing. I'm not.
Boom. No, I think that's great too. And the opposite is you see someone who's trying to get sober and you baby them through detox. Mm-hmm. Like you said, like I wasn't really trying to get better. The only reason I was detoxing is because the dealer ran out or because I couldn't get any or because we didn't have the funds. It wasn't because I wanted to be sober.
And maybe it did a little bit.
It's not really, no. It was like if I was detoxing, it's because someone ran out and I was in between supplies.
Yeah.
Generally, that's why.
Like we were talking about this earlier where both of us had we had a stomach virus at the same time.
Yeah.
And you ended up going to the hospital because you were, I thought it was ridiculous. And I still think it was ridiculous to this day. Because I'm like, we just have a stomach bug. Why don't you suck it up? Why the hell do you have to go to the hospital? I guess you needed to hydrate or something. I don't know. It was really weird. There was one point, I mean, did you feel like you had to get morphine or something for the pain?
I feel like I needed an IV bag because I had drank nothing but whiskey and taken oxycodone for the last freaking 2 weeks straight, and I hadn't had any water.
Yeah.
So when I started throwing up and I couldn't stop throwing up, my hands curled in and I couldn't move.
You were, yeah.
Yeah, so I got an IV bag and I felt better.
But I was pissed.
You were really pissed.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
And it's not like it happened. It's because it was a constant thing in our house towards the end of your addiction.
I was always doing something.
You were always doing something. And I got to a point where I'm like, I don't have this for you anymore. Like I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm detaching. You're on your own, suffer on your own. But if you try to get help or whatever, then I'll be there for you. Like I'm not going to support you in your addiction, but I will support you in your recovery. And my next page's perspective is probably going to be about how to not give a fuck on something. So y'all might want to listen to that. I might be going off on that.
I was going to ask, like in some ways, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I hear you saying is that you sort of naturally get hardened to a lot of these things.
Yes, I think
and
you do.
You didn't let yourself buy into that empathy or make excuses or any of those things. At some point you were like, that is a grown ass man.
Yes.
That made commitments to an employer, to me, to our child, to all these different people, and he's not doing them. And I'm not making excuses, and I'm letting it known that's not okay.
Right.
It is not okay.
Right. And I don't think that's a terrible place to be. I mean, like I said, someone did call me a cold-hearted bitch one time on TikTok for saying something like this, but I don't care. Honestly,
Whatever.
I don't, because for me, it worked for us. I think it was healthy for both of us. I don't think you would be where you are if I was constantly giving you compassion over and over and over again to where you would be comfortable in your pain, you know?
Yeah, like if you were making a soup or a salad or something and you had, equal, like you have certain parts of it were tough love, certain parts of it were compassion, certain parts were empathy and all these different things. Like compassion would have been like the croutons. Like there's not many of them. You know, there's a little bit, but there's not a whole lot. Like there's a lot of green leaf lettuce that represented like hard love and like boundaries and what I will and will not tolerate. And there was, I think that something that goes unspoken in a lot of this is that you were obviously at a point where you were willing to follow through on these things.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that like people ask us, and there is no answer for it. If you're not willing to follow through on your boundaries, then there's really no sense in setting them.
Right.
Start smaller.
Absolutely.
Start smaller.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, like, what if I didn't get sober? Would you have just kept doing these things?
No.
Hell no.
No.
You were ready to walk.
Yeah. And then, but also I turn it around on myself. Like, what if it was me? If I was the one who was using and I was sick and I was withdrawing and I was doing all these things, or I was hungover all the time, I would not expect you to take care of me.
I would have in the beginning, maybe, and then quickly lost
But
patience
I would
for that.
not expect you to, because to me, I'm like, I put this on myself. I did this to myself.
I felt that way too. Like,
You
I didn't
know?
expect you. I wasn't mad at you for not being compassionate.
Okay.
Never. I was never like, how dare you? I'm over here. I never did that.
Right. I mean,
Ever.
we really didn't discuss that too much. I think it's just like one of those, it just happened within us. It was just it was like a mutual
I never felt sorry
agreement
for
type thing.
myself for what I was
But
going through.
I just felt like even whenever back in the day when I would have, hangovers or whatever, and I'd feel like shit, I wouldn't expect you to take care of me. I wouldn't, because I'm like, I did this myself. I put this on myself. I'm a grown ass person who chose to be an idiot. And then I'm the one who has to suffer the consequences. That's adulting. That's being an adult. Own your shit.
I just had a thought.
Oh God, where are we going?
Do you think that people who show love through acts of service have a really, really tough time with this?
Absolutely.
And boundaries in general?
I do. But love language is what you want. It's not what the other person wants. So act of service, I know you're showing your love and you're showing these things. But I think that there's a line there.
There has to be.
There's a line there.
Yeah, it can't go on
Like
ad infinitum. It can't just continue forever and ever.
Right. So let's say that you're with somebody who is abusive, or they're, suffering from substance use or whatever. They were an asshole to you one night. Okay. Let's say that they were verbally abusive to you. They were treating you poorly. They were not, just total jerk. And the next day you wake up and you make them like the best breakfast ever. And you're like, okay, this is just what I do. This is how I love somebody. This is how I show love. Is that really the best thing that you want to do for this person?
I don't think that's healthy.
I
It's
don't
just
think
me.
it's-
I'm not a therapist, but I don't think it's healthy.
I don't think it's healthy either. I think that there are lines and there's bounds. And I'm not saying, we're all taught to be kind. We're all taught, kindness goes a long way. But these are abusive relationships. There's a line here that whenever you are doing a lot of kindness, you're missing the point of how you're being treated.
Yeah.
And it's not a tit for tat type thing, right? Because that's going to get confusing too. Obviously, these are all complex situations.
Yeah, it's not black or white.
No, it's
Like,
not.
Never at any point will either of us say, like, don't show someone compassion.
No,
Just
that's not what it's about.
Keep an eye out on that, because you can do too much of it. That's all. Like, I think compassion can be really beneficial. Like, we listened to that book about the craft method and it talked about compassion. It's been scientifically proven to show that people get into treatment more successfully when there's compassion involved in the process. And it's not just nagging and yelling and screaming and all these things. When there's compassion, you show them like, hey, you're an amazing person. You've got a lot of great qualities. Those are the things I love. But also placing boundaries around the bad. Compassion can be beneficial. It can be a useful tool to help motivate people, but it can go too far when someone isn't willing to do anything about their situation or their predicament.
Right.
We've seen that more times than I can count.
Right.
Where
It's like my three
you can't
strike,
be
you're out.
so nice that it just gets someone well.
Right.
You
That
can't
doesn't
love them
work.
at the point.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't
But
work.
you have to protect yourself. So when compassion goes too far to where you're not even protecting yourself, show that compassion for yourself. Switch it. Turn it around on you, because you deserve that compassion. You're not going to get it from your partner, but you can damn well get it from yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So another sign of if you have excessive compassion,
Could
I
be
guess
you.
is what is emotional exhaustion. So this is if you experience chronic stress, anxiety, and depression due to the behavior from your partner and your constant effort to support them, which we see this all the time, It gets to a point where it's like, I'm just exhausted. I'm drained. You're overwhelmed because of all of the emotional toll it takes on you, because it's a one-sided relationship at that point, because you're the only one doing all the work.
Yeah, we talked to Dr. Taylor about this we just had a call today about something unrelated to this episode, but he mentioned compassion fatigue. And it's a real phenomenon. You constantly care for, like he was talking about in the context of therapists. This is something that happens to therapists. And you constantly care for other people that are in distress, and it depletes your own emotional reserves to the point where you can't care for yourself or really anything. Like there's only so much you can take before that. It's like filling up your gas tank. Eventually it overflows, it spills all over the freaking concrete. That's what happens.
That's why that's why you need to know where your line is. That's where you need to know when to back out. There are times in the community that I have to back out sometimes for health reasons, for my mental health reasons. There's nothing wrong with that. That's healthy. That's if I were to be constantly in there and trying to throw in my compassion and empathy all the time, I would get exhausted.
It depletes your own reserves.
I would deplete it.
Think about the people like in our home that need that too. Like are no longer getting it. Like there's only so much to give. There's only so much to dole out.
Yeah.
It's not an infinite pile. There's only so much to give.
Yeah.
Save some for yourself, please.
Yeah. It's okay to have lines and boundaries for yourself to protect yourself. So you want to talk about the consequences?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So if you,
let's just say that someone hears you and they're like, okay, I hear you, but listen, I'm just going to keep doing this thing. And I love them to death. And I'm just going to keep fighting. What might happen to somebody?
Okay. And I also I want people to understand that empathy is important. Compassion is important.
It's not all or nothing.
It's not all or nothing. I don't want you to change who you are, but I do want you to be able to take care of yourself to find that middle ground. I don't want you to go so far to how the addict is to where there's no empathy, but
pure selfishness. You
can find the middle ground. Like on the line of the spectrum I was talking about, you need to find a 5 or a 6, maybe a 7, not a 3 or a 2, because you're only harming yourself at that point.
Too much.
So all we're just trying to do is help you find that middle ground, which it took me years to get there, but I found it. When
we talk about empowering, I mean, I guess if you want to read between the lines there and like, what are we really saying? We're trying to make you a little more selfish, but in a healthy way.
It's in a healthy way, and it's not being selfish to where it's like, oh, just focus on yourself. Oh, you just got to focus on yourself. No, it's empowering you to know that you have choices and you can make decisions, and you are, you have emotional intelligence too. We're trying to make you find that middle ground. Not be on the total opposite.
Yeah, that's what we talk about when we say empowering. Like part of that is like we're trying to make you a tad more selfish.
Yeah.
Not to the extent that your partner is, but to an extent where you're starting to take care of yourself a bit more.
It's not selfish. I don't like using that word. It's
not
selfish. I know you do. But it's not selfish because selfish is doing something that's going to negatively impact somebody around you. And that's not necessarily what it is. Are we going to go through this?
I'm going to ask the internet. Define selfishness.
I had a really I had a session within my therapy years ago about selfishness because I didn't understand. I thought that you were selfish when you were taking care of yourself, but you weren't. Because you weren't harming me at that point.
You're right. Selfishness is bad. I take it all back.
Thank you.
Selfishness is the quality or state of being primarily concerned with one's own personal profit or pleasure at the expense of others.
Exactly.
We ain't trying to do that.
No, we're not doing that. We're just trying to help you find that middle ground, the healthy ground of standing up for yourself.
It is just
still
having
empathy for others.
Okay. We just need you to focus a bit more.
We just want you to be able to make your own decisions in your life. That's what's important, and to be healthy. So if you have too much compassion, you can actually delay the recovery for your partner because they may not seek the help that they need or face the consequences of their action, which makes them stalled. That's kind of what we were talking about earlier.
Textbook
about the
enablement.
Yeah. And then the personal burnout, which you were saying, is like it can completely make you feel so drained. And when we're burnt out, we're no good to anybody. We're no good to ourselves.
Especially yourself.
We're not good to our children. We aren't good to our friends. We aren't good to anybody. Oh, I want one of those.
Someone just rolled by in a Segway thing.
I would bust my ass on that thing.
Totally.
Do you think if we went to a city and we got on one of those little things?
Segway tour?
Is that what it is? That was just an electric scooter.
That was just a scooter, I think.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay on a scooter. I did a scooter in Florida. I was okay.
You didn't
I lived. I didn't fall.
Paige is a klutz.
Yeah, I run into a wall daily. That's why I don't like bottles like this. Anyway,
It's
okay.
hilarious.
So personal burnout, bad, not fun. It sucks. It happens. It's going to happen throughout your life. I mean, I think that we learn from burnout.
Everyone's been here at some point, right?
I think that, yeah, I mean, even within doing this job, you know, sometimes we
any
have burnout.
job, like-
anything in life, you're going to have burnout. But if it's consistent and it's like from the same thing, you know, nothing changes if nothing changes. Utilize that burnout as fuel and to make change. I'm talking a lot this time.
I'm just sitting here enjoying every second of it.
I feel like I'm talking too fast.
No, I love it.
Okay. And then relationship strain, which there is already a relationship strain in these relationships.
Been there.
Obviously. But the imbalance can just make it even worse, and it can lead to more resentment and more conflict and all of those things. And it's not, I don't want this to be like a victim blaming type thing,
No, I
because
don't either.
it's not, but you're also not powerless.
Right.
We're trying to help you get out of the victim mentality to where like you do have choices,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually a really badass thing to know. Like take that as a positive spin on this. Like, yeah, you have power. You can do things. And then this one was on financial strain, and that's just providing too much support for somebody who's addicted. It can lead to your own personal financial difficulties.
Yeah, or for the home, for your
For your
children.
home,
I mean,
all of
yeah,
it.
a lot of people have been here. You know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. So,
So how do you find that healthy mixture of compassion that doesn't lead you to burnout, that doesn't enable other people? Where do we start?
okay. Well, you're going to set and enforce your boundaries. If you haven't listened to the boundaries episode, go back almost a year, I think is when we did that boundaries episode.
There's a 3-part series on it.
Yeah, really good. Helpful to so many people. And you define your limits and communicate them to your spouse. And you say like, you know, I can't lend you any more money, but I'm here to support you in finding a treatment program. Just like I said earlier, I will support you in your treatment, but I cannot support you any longer
In addiction.
And just be consistent with enforcing your boundaries. You know, don't make exceptions that can undermine your efforts.
I've been seeing a lot of this, not necessarily in our group, but just we're in various groups about boundaries and whatnot, and rules are not boundaries. Like there's a lot of people that make rules. Rules don't work. It doesn't work. Like, hey, you cannot use alcohol in our home. Got it. Come home drunk. I told you not to use alcohol. And then they get online and they'll post like, he used alcohol. Like, what do I do? That's not a boundary. That's a rule.
Yeah.
They're going to break rules. Everyone breaks rules.
Right. So
especially
what are you
addicts.
going to do about it? That's
Right.
the difference.
Yeah, boundaries are for you.
They're for you.
They're for you. And they generally require you to go out of your way to protect yourself.
Yes, which sucks. It's unfair.
It's not fair,
a bunch
but
of
it is.
bullshit.
That's the way to do
But
it.
honestly, it's like when you do that though, again, you have more power than you think. And it's not the power to control the other person. It's power to just control you. And when you're able to do that, that is a big deal because you're letting go of that wanting to control somebody else.
Yeah. People aren't going to like your boundaries. They're not. And the ones that they're meant for specifically, they will not like them.
Yeah, there are many times when I see somebody say, well, I set this boundary and my partner said, well, that's not going to work for me. That's unfair, blah, blah, blah. What do I do? Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter how they take it. It doesn't matter what comes out of their mouth. Like, it does not matter. The boundary is for you. Just like with Matt, if he relapses. I think that we had something in a podcast where we were talking about this, and you made a comment where I don't think that she will leave, or so I need to go back and listen to it. And somebody questioned us, and I was like, well, it doesn't, if he said that, I don't care. It doesn't matter what he said. My boundary. Here's what I'm going to do. Like, my boundary is that if he uses, I'm going to remove myself from my home with my children and do what I have to do to protect myself. I don't care what he says.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, though, they forget that you're not dealing with a stable person. You're not dealing with someone who's reasoning on a logical level by any means. We're talking about substance abusers, talking about abusive people. We're talking about emotionally immature people. And they're going to be really pissed off when you're no longer cooperating with their dysfunction. When you stop doing that, they're going to lose their shit. That's generally what happens. So when we talk about boundaries, like, please go back and listen to that. Boundaries are not rules. Like, understand what it is you're protecting, understand what your values are, and do not set a boundary that you're not willing to enforce.
Yes, start small.
Start small. Like, I completely understand if you're not ready to leave the relationship. that's fine. But you might be ready to no longer communicate with someone who's drunk. Maybe you're
right. Like texting boundaries.
Yeah,
are
like
great.
I'm not going to communicate with you when you're under the influence. I'm not going to be in the same room with you. And then you start to feel better about that. Then maybe it is like, I'm not going to be in the home anymore. I'm not going to do these things. Like, if you're doing it to try to control someone else and get a result that you want, that's not what boundaries are for. That's not what boundaries are for. That's the wrong reason to set a boundary. That's manipulation. That's not boundary setting.
Right.
Sometimes people will respond to them and you will get a beautiful result, but don't expect that to be the case.
No, expect it to be violated and crossed. Expect it.
Every time I've ever set a boundary with somebody, okay, here's the fact. If you have to set a boundary with someone, they're already an effing lunatic usually, most of the time. In my experience, I'm just talking about people I've had to do this with. Perpetual line steppers, man. Like, they just cannot help themselves but to walk all over you.
Right.
And once you have to set a boundary with that person, like, what do you think they're going to do? These people in my life anyway have stepped on them repeatedly.
Yeah.
And then you bring it up and they act like you're crazy.
Right. That's when compassion goes too far, because you're allowing them to step over your boundaries over and over and over again, and nothing is changing at that point.
Yeah, but that's a process, and I'm saying
Absolutely.
this like in jest, like it was no big deal, but no, like it took me years
Yes.
to get to the point where I was ready to say, you know what? F you. I'm not doing this anymore. I understand why you do what you do and what you've been through and how we got here. It just doesn't matter to me anymore. I can't tolerate this anymore.
Right.
And that's tough. Like, you kind of have to harden
Very
yourself in
hard.
some ways.
Yes, you do.
You got to put on some armor.
But once you go through that and you do the hard things and you remove yourself from it for a while, you have so much more clarity and you see it for what it truly is and how it was truly affecting you.
Yeah, like you had your suspicions before, but take a step back.
But
and you'll
take a
see
step
it, and
back
you'll go,
and you're like,
shit.
oh, whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes.
That was bad.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So another way is encourage professional help, which a lot of us do. You're always, like, hey, go to treatment, go to rehab, go to therapy, go to support groups. Like that, we all do this. Like, that's something that's not new. But what do we do if they don't follow through? Like, you got to have some kind of backup. You got to take care of yourself. You can have compassion for the crap that they've gone through and say, like, hey, I'd love for you to get help. But if they're not getting help, they're not taking it seriously.
Yeah, you can encourage people to seek treatment. We've talked about that. And what's that book called? I can't totally endorse it or give my opinion on it because I haven't finished it yet, but I think it's called Get Your Loved One Sober.
Something like that. Yeah. You're like, oh, that's an interesting title.
It's about the craft method. It's been proven. It's been proven to get people into treatment through support, not necessarily through consequences always. There's still some natural consequences, but yeah, encouraging professional help.
Yep.
That's the way I would do it.
Right. Practicing self-care. Talk about that all the time.
Hey, post about your self-care if you're not.
Yes, please do.
People are still doing it, but it seems to have died off a little bit.
It has, but I've done a really shitty job at posting my own self-care in there.
Because you haven't been doing it.
I know. I know.
We've been too busy.
And I was real about that. I only worked out twice last week, which really sucks for me.
The
in my
last
mental
3
health.
weeks of life have been crazy.
Like, absolutely insane. And I'm learning from this process. And I know that it's an excuse because, like, life is going to happen. Life is going to happen.
And we did it to ourselves.
And we did that. Yeah. But I think we're aware of it. We have really great self-awareness, but we just have to, like,
manage time better.
Do better.
Do better.
Just fucking do better.
Just do better.
And we will, and we are. Like, we'll get there. It's not detrimental. But anyway, just like self-care is so important. And that's not just working out or getting your nails done or all that stuff. It's just like really doing the hard work and taking care of yourself.
Make it non-negotiable for yourself.
Saying no, man. Practice saying no. That is a form of self-care. Practice saying no. I'll talk more about that in my
It's a complete sentence as well.
It really is. It really is.
If you've ever negotiated with me via email, you know this.
You sent me a screenshot, I think, last week, and you're like, no is a complete sentence. And it was an email that you sent to someone, and it just said no.
That's all
I was like,
said.
I would have fucking hated working with you on that kind of stuff. If someone would have just said no. Like, it irritates me. But then once you
I was busy. I didn't have time to explain myself. I just said no. And I wasn't being like ugly about it.
No,
Just,
I know.
No, I can't.
But I think like the unhealed version of me would get annoyed by that. But are you
Yeah,
hearing?
yeah.
Yes, the unhealed version would get really annoyed by this. But now that I recognize how important it is to just say no, and how it's not personal and it's not a big deal, and it's polite. It is what it is. It doesn't matter. Then I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay. It doesn't bother me. It's kind of like when people do thumbs up text. Like, I really don't care. It doesn't piss me off. A lot of people are like, no, hell no, don't send a thumbs up, because that's just going to trigger them and piss them off.
I mean, there's a way to send a thumbs up and a way not to.
I know.
If you're an old guy, that's all they do.
That's all they do. Which, like, okay, whatever.
On the internet, though, them's fighting words.
I just don't think I think that's overanalyzing, overthinking. That's a totally different podcast episode. But yeah, I think the unhealed version of me would get really upset with a no response.
I didn't have time to explain myself. I just couldn't do it. No.
I know.
It was easy.
That's what
the guy didn't respond either. He was just like, okay.
Like, busy people, you understand that people who are like working really hard all the time, they're gonna respond like that. It's not a reflection of you. Like, don't take it personally when it comes to stuff like that.
Right.
So, but for us, it's okay to say no. Practice saying no. But I wonder if that's why people are afraid to say no too, though, is because they feel like...
Wasn't it Nancy Reagan, just say no? Wasn't that her whole bit? War on drugs, dare and all that? Just say no?
Sure.
Just say no.
Okay. Focus on empowering, not enabling. This is on the other person. So promote independence. Encourage them to take responsibility for their actions and to find own solutions for their problems. I love doing that.
Love doing that.
I love doing that. I do that with our kids too, because when people are able to do things on their own, when they're able to solve their own problems, it builds up their self-esteem and it empowers them to be able to make decisions on their own.
It's the coolest thing to watch too.
It is cool.
From
so you
afar,
do it
when
with your
someone
kids.
does it, it's like, yes, let's go.
So why not do it with your partner? Why not do it with your partner? Don't fix their problems. Don't, be that you can support them, but don't fix them. Let them figure things out and see what happens. I've done that with you since we were kids.
You were never petty about it.
No.
Either.
No.
Like, when I did the right thing, you were never, you'd like, thank you for doing that. Like, I'm proud of you for doing that.
I
You
was
were
good
never
at positive reinforcement.
very good.
Yeah.
Very good. You were never
Yeah.
like, oh, congrats, dipshit. You did the dishes today. How's that feel? You never did anything like that.
Maybe I said, do you want a cookie at some point? I might have said that.
I'm sure you've said that to me more than 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But you were always really good about it. Like, when I did the right thing, you would acknowledge that and you would let me know you appreciate it. Like, that's the right thing to do. That's awesome. Dude, great.
Yeah.
Do the same thing with our kids. You get a lot more out of that than you do shaming them.
So here's the thing that we
that
did
is
with
a mix
our
of
kids.
compassion. Like, that very much is.
Yeah. Like, think about what we did yesterday when we dropped the kids off. We recognized that our son left his stuffed animal in the back of the car. And we did not, we talked it through. We wanted to take it and give it to them and run it back to him and make sure he got it. But another part of us was like, hold on, he left this. He needs
This is not a new thing for him either.
No, it's not. But in order for him to understand that there are consequences, we couldn't save him with the animal. He had to realize, oh no, I left it.
I need to be more attentive.
I need to be
stuff.
more. Yes, I need to pay more attention. I can't save him from that stuff all the time. He needs to realize, oh, I messed up.
Yeah,
I
he misplaces things all the time. Loses his hat,
Right.
freaking electronics, all kinds of stuff.
But then you went and bought him another stuffed animal. But that was different.
I sent him a care package.
We sent him a care package, which was really kind and stuff. But we're very, when stuff like this happens, we calculate it very much.
Mm-hmm.
We think about the pros and cons of each thing, how we would do it, how we would solve it.
What's most important for us, I think, has always been like, is this going to empower them? Is this going to help them gain autonomy and independence in their life?
Yeah.
And if it does, then we do it. It doesn't matter if it's painful or not. It's what you need to do.
Right.
Sometimes it sucks. And it's like, oh God, I could fix it right now for them. You just don't. You have to let people experience those things.
Right. And as empaths, that's what we do. We want to fix things. But that's where you find that line where it's like, oh, no, I'm going to switch my mindset and say, no, this is actually good for them. It's good for them to have consequences. It's good for them to suffer a little bit. It's good for them to go through the hard shit in order to get to the other side, because that's how they're going to learn. So switch it like that. Like, that is compassion. Like, that's empathy. That's actually support, is allowing them to go through the hard shit.
Find the
own.
middle ground. Find the gray area.
Yeah, but if you have to switch your mindset like that and it makes it more appealing to you, you know, instead of like, oh God, I can't do that. That just sounds so shitty. It's not shitty.
Yeah.
It's not.
I want to skip this next one.
Yeah, I'll skip that one. You want me to go to this one?
Did you have notes on that one?
Nope.
Okay.
So that was basically
That's the gist of it.
strategies. I mean, since we went through our little stories and whatnot, that kind of helps, I think, with people finding the middle ground.
The last thing I wanted to cover was I've called it the compassion trap before.
Okay.
Where spouses will seek to understand. If I understand, then I can manage it better. I can heal. Like, people have got varying answers to this, and it's interesting to me. I'm not saying that anyone's wrong about their reasons for wanting to know, but someone asked us the question: do abusive people know that they're being manipulative, that they're being abusive, or are they not aware? And someone asked me the question.
Like, basically, are they being intentional about it too?
Yeah. Are you intentionally deceiving me? Like, someone asked the question, like, do they know what they're doing or not?
Right.
And so I replied, and the video was something along the lines of like, listen, I think it's like, we've talked about it, and I've said some of it's manslaughter and some of it's first-degree murder. So the manslaughter stuff is when I'm not doing the right thing and people get hurt because of my carelessness. There was a lot of that. There's a lot more of that than there was like calculated malicious intent. But there's both.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if either one's okay. Obviously they're not. The law doesn't care.
Right.
Just because you were, you could be completely sober and in a construction zone and you just happen to check your phone and you're looking at messages and then you hit someone and kill them. Like, you're going to jail for manslaughter. You didn't intend to hurt anyone, but you did because you were being careless and reckless. I was doing a lot of that when my addiction was driving me, like completely running my life. I was lying. I was taking money. I was doing all kinds of stuff that was harming you. It wasn't like I intended to harm you, but there were other times when I lied with the intent to deceive you.
Yeah.
Like have we talked about it on the show?
Yes.
Okay. So
the toll tag thing.
Yeah.
Where you actually deleted it.
I deleted a transaction and then lied about my whereabouts and told you that you were crazy and I was like, refresh the page. It's not even there. What are you talking about? And you looked at it, you're like, oh, it was here. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. You must be mistaken. And then sort of laugh it off. And I just let you think you were effing crazy.
The story still pisses me off.
I bet it does piss you off, but that's first degree murder. That is intent.
Yeah.
But people's responses kind of vary. It's like, well, in some ways it helps me know whether or not I can be mad about this. If you intended to hurt me, then I can be pissed. And some other people were saying that, if your intention was to hurt me or not, it sort of helps me process it and helps me heal. Like it's maybe helps with the grieving of it all. Like
maybe it's like a validation.
I didn't
thing.
deserve it.
Yeah.
My whole thing has been, and I don't want to discount anyone's answer.
No,
to
but
that.
this was my
But
thought too.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter
Right.
whether or not they meant to or not. The fact that matters is they hurt you because they were being careless and thoughtless, or they were being malicious. Either way, it's not okay.
Right.
It's just not okay. So there's this, it's not a meme. It's a quote, I guess, running around, and a lot of people have seen it. We've actually had it posted in the community a few times. It's usually accompanied by some picture, but it says, imagine being bitten by a snake, and instead of trying to help yourself heal and recover from the poison, you try to catch the snake to find out the reason it bit you, to prove to it that you didn't deserve it. There's so much of that goes on here. So much of that. You did not deserve it. Snakes do what snakes do.
Yeah.
Abusive people do what abusive people do. Addicts do what addicts do. Manipulators do what manipulators do. This is what they do. And I would encourage people to stop trying to understand it too much.
Agreed.
Too much. Like you can understand, like it's like in the addict module within the course, like I give people a broad overview of this is what addiction, or mostly it's my story. Then it's like, here's what addiction is. Here's what it's not. Here's some ways. Here's my take. Here's some ways that you can address it. This isn't for you to go tell your spouse, hey, here's how you can fix addiction. It's just so that you know that there are treatments available, period.
Yeah.
And we'll just leave it at that. But so many people spend their lives trying to be the one that's going to figure this out. Like, no, I can convince him if I just understand it better. And if I understand it better, then I can tolerate it better. But that's never been our intention, is to teach you how to tolerate abuse better just by understanding it more.
Right.
That's what Al-Anon does. That's not what we do.
Right.
That's not what we do. And like we're listening to that book yesterday, it talked about the like the craft method, and it talked about getting people into treatment. I think that Al-Anon got 1 into 30 people into treatment. Just understanding and having compassion for abuse turns out does not get people into treatment. It does not get them better in general.
Right.
Could it be helpful for you long-term? Yes. Is it a helpful community? Absolutely. I think that's a great place for community.
For support.
Yeah, for support, to understand things. But when it comes to, is it really going to fix anything within you if you understand it better? To some degree, you can understand it and know that they're not doing it to hurt you most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's still hurting you, and the harm is affecting you in many ways.
Yes.
That harm affects you.
Right.
And that's what I want people to know when it comes to compassion. Like, was I aware that I was being a liar every single time? Yes. I was aware I was lying. The intention for why I was lying was different at times, but I was always aware of it. Is it okay to lie to people?
No.
No. So does understanding it make it easier for you?
No.
It doesn't?
I mean, I guess it does. I don't really know. I just don't lie. No, I know, okay, so everybody probably lies unintentionally sometimes. We do things that are harmful to others sometimes. But if you were to bring it up to me, I would say, "Oh, I am so sorry. I did not know that I did that to you. I'm going to work on this. I'll do better." That's where the difference is how they're going to respond to it.
That's totally different. Yeah. Like, you're right. If someone's not aware, like it's, "Hey, Lan, like when you did that thing, like that really hurt me. I don't know if you knew that, but that really hurt me." And you make them aware of it, because maybe if you weren't aware, then you need to be aware.
Right.
It's just not that simple,
No.
because that's under the pretense that we're dealing with a rational person,
That right there.
Emotional immaturity, or who's emotionally mature, but we're not generally. We're dealing with people who are very emotionally immature, people who are lost in addiction, people who are intentionally trying to deceive and manipulate to fuel this addiction. And that involves your collateral damage in that. So, like the question I asked, let me get my glasses real quick. So like kind of back to your point. So like, if I'm not aware of it, and now that you've made me aware, what if I don't do anything about it? Do I still get compassion there? Do I still get, does that change how you feel about it?
No,
I think that's healthy. And that's all. I knew you'd say that because that's what you did.
Yeah.
Like, at some point you let me know very much that you can't do this. Like, you cannot lie about this.
You give people a couple of chances, but how many chances you're going to give somebody if they keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you're going to expect different results? That's, part of the definition of being insane.
Yeah, like my role on this show and like with Tufo is to help people understand the perspective of an addict.
Yes.
But I don't want them to spend, all their time just trying to understand the addict, because there's only so much you can understand. At the end of the day, I want to feel better, and I don't really care what that takes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to feel better. And if that means that you get in my way, then I'm sorry. Not really, but you're just going to get hurt. End of story. That's all there is to it. Does that really matter if I meant to do it or not? Is that the type of person that you want to share your life with and your most intimate details with? Right. No, probably not. Right. Probably not. So when it comes to like, do we mean to, do we not? And how much does compassion play into this? I don't think it factors in a hell of a lot. I think that I had been through a lot in my life that got me there. And you knew that stuff. You knew what I had been through when I was a kid. You knew generationally.
We've been together since we were 14. I've seen a lot of shit.
And going back generations, you know what my parents had been through, what their grandparents had been through. You knew why.
Right.
It just didn't matter at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, it was you, it was our daughter, it was our financial well-being, it was all this stuff that was being risked. It's like, I can only be so compassionate. I can only understand so much. I understand why you do these things, but these things are still not okay.
Exactly.
That's all I wanted to hammer home.
That's the gray area there. That's where I have empathy for you. I can feel, or sympathy. I can feel for you too. Yeah. But I'm not going to fix it for you, and you have to fix it yourself. And if you don't fix it, then I have to reevaluate what I'm going to do.
I do think from a grieving standpoint, like we talked about complicated grief, we talked about Dr. Boss, we talked about all that stuff. I think that it can be helpful for people as they seek answers to grieve, to make sense and to rationalize.
Yep.
And to get answers. I mean, that does help. Like the why of it all.
Yeah, it validates a lot of things. It
helps to some extent, but I think that you could still find yourself, if you find an answer that gives them a little more wiggle room to get away with it, I think that you can put yourself back into that situation pretty easily. You can find yourself forgiving someone that you were better off without.
Right.
So careful with that. And that's all we want to do here is just, we're not trying to make you more selfish. That's not it.
No.
That wasn't the right word. It
Thank
was
you.
trying to empower people. That's all.
I'm glad you corrected yourself there, babe. I appreciate that.
Okay. I think that's all we've got for this one, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So be looking forward to Paige's perspective, just like I am, this Friday.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I was going to say, we didn't mention the newsletter. Matt releases a newsletter
Oh,
every Wednesday.
man.
If you want to go to twfo.com, scroll to the bottom, click your email address and subscribe, you'll get his newsletter. It's really good, y'all. Like it's great. And it's not all about the addict either. It's really to help empower you to make decisions for yourself.
I like asking people questions that just make them think for a moment. That's all.
It's so good. It's so good. It's such a good newsletter.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoy doing it. I love that
It's a
people
creative
like
outlet
it.
for you. But like, so y'all get a lot with Matt. That's why another reason why I'm doing the Paige's perspective too is because you do the newsletter.
There's too
and
much of
some
me on
things.
here, man. Let's be
So
real.
we're gonna
Needs to be a lot more of you.
do a little bit of shifting, and I hope y'all enjoy it, and you get to get a real dose of me.
I love it. I love the effort you're putting into it and the growth that comes with it. Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Well, till next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.